Richard Skinner from the Inquirer is here. So is the former Bengals kicker Doug Pelfrey. Guys, you saw the poll question. What's the biggest problem you have with the Bengals right now? Is it the quarterback coming off a historically bad night?
Brutal.
Is it the injuries? Those two have been brutal. Is it the coaching? Or relax, they'll be fine. Doug?
Usually, I think you all would expect me to say relax, we're going to be fine, but I don't think. I think we don't.
Whoa, wait a minute! That's where we're going, man.
Exactly.
Now you know it's falling down.
Exactly. If we don't fix a few things, we're not going to be able to relax. I do think we're going to be fine. At the same time, it really is a mix to me between the coaching as well as Dalton, because to me, I'm a little frustrated because I felt like early in the year I felt like we had some really great schemes. I really felt like offensively we really spread the field. I thought we did a real nice job of making them kind of cover the entire 53 in a third wide, and right now we're not. Right now to me, I feel like we're becoming predictable on offense, on defense, and I think a lot of it's just because of the injuries. So you can add that in there, but it's a great poll question. But so I'm just a little bit all over the place. I didn't really give you an answer, but it is a little bit of everything. And
all of the above for Doug Pelfrey.
For Dalton to have a 2 rating, I mean, that was just it was embarrassing. And there's some other things I think that led to that.
I want to ask you about that first. Skinny, let's get your answer to the poll question, and I'll come back to you, Doug.
Well, I know it's A is going to win this thing like by a 3-1 margin.
Of course.
I can guarantee you
because
that.
the quarterback is the lightning rod.
Now, I'm going to give a couple excuses for Andy Dalton. He was epically bad. I mean, he was inaccurate. He overthrew people. I'm going to give a couple things, and I'll give you my answer. He had a tight end who didn't run a right route on the very first throw of the second throw of the game, the first interception. And granted, he should have never thrown the ball, but he's got a tight end he can't trust. A.J. Green in big games, including Thursday night, has been awful in big games. He had a couple drops. Sanu had a couple drops. Right tackle Marshall Newhouse, Mike, couldn't have blocked you coming off the edge the other night. And if he did, he would have tackled you for a holding penalty. So all those things start to factor into a quarterback's head. I'm not going to excuse it because he was completely inaccurate. He was completely awful. I'm going to go with the injuries as the answer to the question, specifically on the defensive side, because you've had so many different linebacker combinations. Nico Johnson is now the third starting middle linebacker. Vinny Ray and Berk have gone in and out of the outside linebacker. Lemur missed the game with the other outside linebacker. So what's happened in the run defense is so many different combinations. You got guys running everywhere in wrong spots. You don't have any continuity in that group. So I'm going to go with the injuries.
You say that about Marshall Newhouse and me as if you think I'm not a good situational passer.
I think he'd be a great one against Marshall Newhouse, especially.
All right, Doug, you should see my swim move.
Great.
Doug, let me ask you. You touched on this earlier. I want to expand on it. The injuries have forced Hugh Jackson to streamline the playbook a little bit. Is it that noticeable to a former player like yourself?
To me, it really is. I mean, just at the same time, it's philosophy too. And I don't know if they prep a certain way for big games versus other games. And I think it's kind of collectively, everybody is really struggling at prime time. And I'm not exactly sure why. It just seems like, I don't know if everybody gets tight or what. But I mean, I think it is partly related to the injuries. But to me, even I've said this for years. If you have to throw Pecco all the way down the middle of the field and you just throw it way over his head, do it. That's fine. Stretch the field, make them cover the whole field, because when we become predictable, then they're inside the box, and we just can't do anything. And then it adds to what we're seeing with Dalton and everybody else.
If you go deep to Pecco, you really got to.
There you go. You coming off the end, and now Pecco going deep.
That's about an 11-second pass protection time frame. To what Doug said, though, and I know George Iloka gave a great answer the other night after the game to that question. He was asked about the primetime issues. And he said part of it is in primetime, for whatever reason, he hasn't been here a long time. He hasn't been here through all the primetime issues, but he's been here enough in prime time over those 3 years where they haven't had a lot of success. He said whenever something goes bad, everybody basically just drops their head. And that can't happen. He said, when we fall behind on a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, we're fine. Yeah. We know we're going to come back. On primetime games, for whatever reason, it gets in their head that, here we go again. And I guess the only way to fix that is you can't do the here we go again. But I thought it was a great answer from Iloka because it was honest.
I think part of it, too, from a former player, you do know, you hear the fans. You hear it's like, here we go again.
And it's murmuring early, quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just primetime. Let's include national TV,
playoff games.
Could be a 1 o'clock.
I consider that prime time. I know what you're saying. But
At the same time, what you deal with petty things, and you start hearing players who know they're going to get fined because they wear the socks a certain way. They want to wear a certain color shoe. Just stupid stuff. So it's a combination, I think, worrying about stupid stuff, and at the same time, as soon as something goes bad, like Skinny and I said, you hear the murmurs and you hear oh no, here it goes again. So, it's just a combination, I think.
We keep saying, oh boy, the Saints are next in the Dome. They are so unstoppable on that turf and the friendly confines. But we were talking about it earlier. But maybe they're not anymore. They lost to the 49ers today. What exactly are the Bengals walking into next week in the Superdome with a Saints team that traditionally since Sean Payton got there, has been very good at home, almost unstoppable, and is now coming off a loss.
Yeah, it's funny. A buddy of mine today, during the end of that game, he said, "Boy, I want the Saints to win," because he goes, "I want happy Saints. I don't want angry Saints."
Right.
And I thought that's actually probably the right way to take it. It's such a weird league. New Orleans in that dome is probably better than the Bengals, and to lose there wouldn't be bad. That being said, you lose that game and you play well, I think you get a confidence hit to then win the next 2 games on the road because they're very winnable.
Very.
And obviously Pittsburgh helped you immensely today by losing to the Jets. So that loss Thursday, as goofy as it sounds, as bad as it was, Mike, it's almost been mitigated by Pittsburgh losing at the Jets today.
You know, Pittsburgh now has losses to Tampa and the Jets,
Yeah.
so let's not put them in Arizona just yet for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Doug, thoughts
But everybody
on,
did.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks, they certainly did. Doug, thoughts on the Saints game upcoming?
You know, I think it's always tough to win down there. I mean, because it's just such a it's just a tough place to play, and I think they play better. It's almost like the Falcons play better in Atlanta in the dome, so
Yep.
they're just more comfortable. I think we're going to have to go down there and play our best game to beat them. And I think, unfortunately, that's what we've done. Is like you said, we've mitigated all the loss this week, but at the same time, we've really put ourselves in a situation we got to win quite a few games here coming down the stretch.
All right, you will be on Bourbon Street after the game. We'll
Right.
miss you next week.
I know.
You come back and we'll talk about the Saints Bengals.
Very good.
All right, thanks, guys.